Slides?
It should be screen, the third option.
It's whited out for me. I can click slides, I can click video. When I click screen, it's got a white symbol with a line through it.
Okay. Well, Dave, I'm more than happy to share my screen as well. We'll figure it out through our journey here today.
Will I throw my deck over to somebody?
That sounds good. Pranathi, do you have that?
I can just tell you when to change slide, Pranathi, maybe.
All right. Beautiful. We're live, folks. Hey, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today during our demo day of GEM Career Sites powered by HappyDance. I'm Vanlizza Chau, your host, and also a senior product marketing manager at GEM. Super excited to be diving in. But before we do that, let's do a little housekeeping. This session will be recorded, and an on-demand webinar will also be shared after the session. Now, if you have any questions throughout the session, feel free to throw that into the Q&A chat that you see on the right-hand side. And we have an awesome team here. We're going to be covering a lot. We'd love to hear your thoughts. So if there's any feedback that you have throughout the session or any, product questions or feedback for future sessions, feel free to throw that into the chat as well. We always love your perspectives. Now, with that, I am joined by our amazing partners at HappyDance. I'm honored to be accompanied by Dave Ralph, VP of Growth and Partnerships, as well as Paul Mason, Head of Digital Sales, who will be going through our demo today. For those of you that are newer and are joining us for the first time, GEM is extremely excited to be partnering with HappyDance, an award-winning enterprise career site platform that powers our very own career site solution. Now, I don't want to steal Dave and Paul's thunder too much, so I'll save the magic to them in just a second. I thought it'd be really nice to kind of ground us in sort of a quick overview of GEM's platform. Now, GEM is an AI-powered recruiting platform that helps over 1,000 industry leaders attract, engage, and hire their talent faster while cutting costs, maximizing their team's productivity, and also unlocking all that great data that's needed to optimize their processes. So on the right-hand side, just a high-level illustration of everything that comes to life within GEM's platform, everything from CRM to sourcing to a full suite of talent marketing solutions. It's all right there in an all-in-one bundle. And the best part is it's completely flexible. You can use our ATS in that all-in-one solution for maximized efficiency, or bring your ATS to the party and enhance it with our industry-leading integrations with Workday, SuccessFactors, Greenhouse, and so much more. So as I mentioned before, we are going to be focusing today's demo day on career sites. And with that, let's take a look at some stats. So employer branding as a whole is widely known as a critical lever in hiring and attracting the right talent. And we see it in the stats. 94% of candidates say they're more likely to apply to a company with a strong employer brand. And in fact, companies that have positive brands see double the amount of applications that those that don't. Yet there's a huge confidence gap still. The majority of C-suite leaders say that they're not confident that they're attracting the right talent in order to fulfill their goals. And an even higher caliber of recruiting leaders also say they struggle to understand how to exactly optimize their content or career sites in order to achieve them. So when we take a look at a high level of sort of the status quo of career sites, it's no wonder why rigid templates, poor content management and legacy tools that are owned by other departments, weak integrations, and the lack of out-of-the-box analytics are contributing to this struggle. Now, Dave, in just a second, is going to be going over a little bit of a deeper dive into HappyDance and the value that it provides. But at a high level, we're extremely excited about our partnership, if you haven't noticed, because we have one core mission, which is career sites should be beautiful, bespoke to elevate your brand, but it should also be easy to manage. So with our integrated tools, you'll be seeing in just a second, and our reliable integrations across the board, we're excited to present a career site solution that's really going to level up the game. And with that, Dave, I will pass it over to you and the team to go ahead and share a little bit more about HappyDance. Now, let me know if it'll be helpful for me to share my screen as well. Great. And Dave, if you don't mind coming up onto the stage, that would be awesome. Hey, Dave.
You hear me okay?
Hear you just fine.
Good stuff, good stuff. I was saying good evening because if my accent doesn't give it away, I'm joining you from Ireland. It's just after 7 p.m. here in Ireland, and really good to meet you all. Pranathi, I've had an issue sharing my deck. Are we able to share that, or will I can cover it without the deck if necessary? Have we managed to get that up?
And Dave, I believe I have the link here. So why don't I go ahead and drive the slides and you just give me some direction.
Wonderful. I'll let you know when to click on if you don't mind.
All right, beautiful. All right, we're just switching gears here, folks. Give me 1 second.
All the joys of a live broadcast.
Exactly. All right, folks, thanks for bearing with us. Dave, give me the cues and I will do my best to drive. And we're going to spend time.
Wonderful. Thanks, Vanlizza.
All right.
So I have the pleasure of giving you all an overview of HappyDance, who we are and what we do. If you go click on to the next slide for me, please, Vanlizza. And HappyDance is perhaps a name you're not familiar with yet, but we were established as a standalone company about 3 years ago. But to give you confidence in our expertise, we've been designing and building career websites for over 10 years as part of the PH Creative Group, which HappyDance was born out of. And PH Creative has designed and created the employer brand and EVP for some of the biggest global brands like you see here, companies like Apple, Nike, Visa, Microsoft, and many more. But when it came to career website technology that was available in the market, we could consistently see that employer brand was really not being showcased or leveraged effectively. What we were creating and designing for companies wasn't fully feasible or possible to execute when it came to the technology that was available in the market. Very often the computer said no, restrictive templates, not mobile first, slow load speeds, and much, much more. Next slide, please, Vanlizza. And HappyDance emerged with a solution on how to solve combining world-class employer brand with world-class candidate experience. And our goal was to make technology the enabler and not the weakest link, and being able to apply that to the flexibility and scalability of daily use for talent acquisition or talent brand teams. And since building our technology, we have caught the attention of many well-known brands, and a sample of the almost 100 leveraging our technology, companies like Salesforce, Verizon, Pinterest, General Motors, and more you can see here. So we've been through the rigor of big enterprise clients, stress tested for compliance, security, integrations, practical usage, and more. And plus our tech roadmap is user driven by leaders like you to always keep us ahead of our competition. So hopefully you see from the names here that if you do decide to work with us, that you'll be in great company. Next slide, please, Vanlizza. And here are some career site examples of some of the companies who leverage our solution. Companies like Tipico on this slide. Next one, please, Vanlizza. Caterpillar. And the next one, please, Pinterest. And in a very short time, we know that we've been disrupting the market with many of our sites being globally recognized and winning awards. But in saying all of this, the number one reasons companies rave about us is the positive experience they have working with us, starting with implementation, which is often considered, a stressful experience for leaders, which can happen with horror stories of implementations taking up to 12 months, with a company then being left with a career site to have to populate themselves. It's just not how we work with our customers. And I'm also very proud to say, and reflected in a 100% customer retention rate from our past financial year, that our customers love the solution. The HappyDance name came from one of our customers telling us how using our solution made them feel. They said that they felt doing a happy sentiment is truly echoed across our customer base. The next slide, please, Vanlizza. And over the years, we've learned that most leaders in talent acquisition and employer branding are commonly faced with challenges like these. TA leaders tell us that over 80% of them lack data, analytics, and insights, or what they do have is either insufficient or not fit for purpose. Very many recognize their current tech is unstable, outdated, and very often not mobile first. And a large proportion are challenged with scalability relating to things like content pages, jobs, languages, geographies, and a whole lot more. For employer brand leaders, most don't have the access they desire for all areas of their websites, or the ability to make changes without long delays and incurring additional cost. They're unable to or realize that it's costly to offer personalized candidate journeys through leveraging data insights and candidate behavior. And a huge amount cannot fully leverage or showcase their employer brand effectively, the way they would love to see it reflected due to the restrictive tech that their career sites currently may sit on. And considering, next slide, please, Vanlizza, and considering these challenges, you know, what makes the companies that we work with HappyDance, and what do they tell us differentiates us? Well, it's all of this. It's in our performance, page load speeds that are 3 times faster than average. And this is especially important where every second counts. Every second over 3 seconds that it takes your website or jobs to load results in about 10% of your traffic bouncing. It's about being optimized for mobile first. Critically important when over 65% of searches are conducted on mobile today. We're typically twice as fast to find and rank in search. So, you know, is the talent that you desire to attract finding your roles easily today? Its conversion rates typically 3 times the norm, driven by elements like personalization and leveraging our AI tools. And it's about having highly readable content, typically a 50% improvement compared to what's out there, using our tools to address things like sentiment, bias, and much more. With our flexibility in design, you won't get a shell of a website you then have to figure out what to do with. Our sites come populated, live tested, ready to go, with a design and experience you will love, elevating your EVP with every scroll and click. We handle everything with a truly concierge go live service. In terms of scale, there's no limit to the pages, jobs, or users you can create, including adding specific location pages, along with support for over 800 languages. Through personalization, it's not a one-size-fits-all, allowing you to deliver personalized candidate journeys with UI that adapts to the candidate behavior, along with AI that enhances messaging based on your employer brand, supporting and driving those higher conversions I referenced. With our content management system, you're 100% fully in control, no wait times to make changes or additional costs, saving you time, money, and most importantly, realizing the impact that you desire much more quickly. The option to add our analytics engine, which leverages Google Analytics, which at the click of a button provides a suite of data and insights from a talent acquisition, candidate experience, and recruitment performance perspective, again, which our customers love. And of course, seamless integration with your ATS, CRM, and more, along with the ability to leverage other things like NPS, showcasing your culture, chatbots, and a whole lot more. Next slide, please, Vanlizza. And one more thing, AI is infused inside our solution. From our job page grader technology that uses 80 different data points to grade all of your jobs for bias, sentiment, readability, and more, to Job Description Genie. Think of it like Textio meets Grammarly to help your team write amazing job descriptions, and to our content advisor, grading all of your career site content, including your blog content, along with the ability to create and write career site and blog content for you. And with Genie, Grader, and Advisor, they put your employer brand and tone of voice front and center for their outputs. And finally, the opportunity to add Sourcing Copilot You know, if you're lucky, about 5% of your career site visitors will take some action, apply for a role, or join a community maybe. You're spending significant marketing dollars to drive talent to your site, with about 95% of them doing nothing. Sourcing Copilot will provide to you the contact details of about 70% of your anonymous traffic for you to either enhance your sourcing efforts or to think about how you could nurture in other ways more effectively. And fear not, it's 100% GDPR and data compliant. So hopefully you're starting to see that there's not a lot we haven't thought about in how to deliver maximum impact for you through your career site. So in summary, your brand exposed beautifully with a content-rich experience that your potential candidates will love through driving an exceptional candidate experience on a platform that your team will love to use and find super easy to manage, and in a solution that outperforms the market. So thank you so much for the time. I'm going to hand over to my colleague Paul, who's going to give you an overview of some of the work we've done, some live career site examples, and indeed a look at our technology, the front end and the back end. So thank you, folks.
Thanks so much, Dave.
Thanks very much, Dave. Can everyone hear me okay?
Bright and clear.
And see Canva on the screen?
Yes, sir.
Perfect. Great to see everybody, and thanks for attending. I suppose, like Dave's just picked up on, there are quite a few different reasons in why people choose us over our competitors when it comes to career sites. I think the first things I want to show you are a couple of different examples in the way which we work when it comes to designing and developing the career sites. The first example I wanted to show you was Canva. When Canva came to us probably about 18 months ago now, they had a number of challenges. I think first and foremost, their career site didn't really portray them as a brand very well. They wanted us to immerse ourselves into their employer brand and really showcase their brand through cutting-edge design that married up to who they are and what they believe. So this is the career site that we built for them. This is a very custom career site in the fact that we really delved into their employer brand to bring their people stories, their culture, their why to life a little bit more fluidly and effectively. You can see some of the motion and the movement and the different graphics we've brought in. All the imagery that you see was from their employer brand playbook and their image libraries. If I jump into their culture page, you can see the way that we've really sort of like nicely designed up their, their values for different teams, highlighting their different value propositions across the teams as well as bringing their locations to life. Their CEO recently said he would love to poach the designers who actually designed this career site. We told him in no uncertain terms what he could do with that request. So this, I wanted to show you this first because this is, for me, it's going to be an award-winning career site over the next 6 or 12 months. It's just a beautiful example of what is possible when a client says to us, we'd really like you to push our employer brand on our career site as much as possible to make it resonate with our target audiences as well. On the flip side of that, we can also work in a very similar way to lots of our competitors, where we would consume your brand into page templates that already exist within our platform. And that's exactly what you can see here with the Sage Therapeutic sites. You can see the way we've brought their employer brand proposition to life, their why. You can see some of the candidate journeys and the persona journeys, as well as things like latest opportunities. Lovely imagery again, all from their image libraries and their employer brand playbook. If I look across things like the culture pages, it's rich in content that really tells a story about who they are, what they believe in, what makes them different, and why candidates should maybe, think about joining them or even finding out a little bit more. Things like frequently asked questions are marked up automatically by our platform with schema to ensure Google can publish them as rich results. And then they've got content such as flex locations, again, just to enhance that candidate experience further and enrich it with more great content from across their organization and across their different locations as well. So regardless of which direction you wanted to go in, we've got a solution for it, whether it's building something completely custom from a design perspective or a little bit more conservative with maybe less animation and less movement and motion, and consuming your brand into our career site page templates to really make it resonate with your target audience as well. So I wanted to bring those two examples because they're a little bit different. They both perform brilliantly. They've got, exactly the same content management system in the back end that's powering it. But I'm just going to switch gears slightly and move into the demo environment. So you can probably sense a little bit more about how we think about career sites from looking at here. You've got things like Explore, Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion, Teams pages, location pages, content on early careers, blog engine, which comes as standard with all of our career sites as well. But jumping into the homepage again, just slightly, one of the things you'll notice immediately is that this is very much a first-time visitor experience at the moment. So there's lots of content here that is meant to attract. It's given us the latest jobs that have been published to the applicant tracking system, some featured teams, and not necessarily all of the teams that we have within the organization, some featured locations as well, and the latest blog posts that have been published to the careers site too. However, when I start to interact with the site, and I'm just coming on to a point Dave made earlier on about personalization, if as a candidate I know exactly what I'm looking for, I can jump into these jobs quite easily. And again, you'll see immediately within the job detail pages how we enrich these pages to improve engagement, improve conversion, with similar jobs, different content around location, life at, and specific roles that are very much relevant to the actual team and the location. If I jump into the job section and just maybe save a few of these jobs as well, maybe in Chicago, because we're looking at Chicago-based roles. There we go. Let's just jump into this page. Again, we can see similar jobs. I can see different contents on these job detail pages that can assist me with my journey through the site. Then as I jump back into the home page, I'm seeing, instead of latest jobs, I'm seeing jobs for me. So what's happening now with the personalization based on the pages that I'm looking at, it's very much tailoring the jobs and the experience to me now, based on what I've been looking at around the careers site for the last few minutes. We're not interrupting the candidate journey. We're simply subtly looking at what the candidate is looking at, what page URLs they're looking at, and serving them content and serving them jobs that are going to be more specific to their actual search as well, and what they're interested in and what they've shown an interest in over the last few minutes. And the great news with the personalization engine is that you can completely control this in the back end of the content management system as well. So it's completely content manageable by you. So if you only wanted candidates to see personalized content once they'd seen maybe 5 jobs or 6 jobs, you can do that very, very easily over the click of the button, which I'll show you just now. This is another major selling factor of the platform as well. When we first set out about building career sites, maybe 10, 11 years ago now, one of the key things that we noticed across the board with any of our competitors or any of our customers, career site providers, was that it was very much a case of when you wanted to make a change, you had to raise a ticket. You had to wait a certain period of time for them to get back to you, scope it out, cost changes, and then charge them sometimes an extortionate amount of money to make a change that needed to happen 3 or 4 weeks ago for a campaign that you're running. So one of our first goals with this platform was to make it 100% content manageable by you. Now, I could spend an hour showing you the back-end content management system and examples. However, I'll just give you a few of the highlights today. Everything we design and build is responsive and mobile first, meaning, it's going to load across every device absolutely perfectly. And also from a Google page experience perspective, it's going to hopefully ensure that with that fast loading times and quick loading times across different devices and network coverages, you're going to hopefully rank more prominently or assist you in ranking more prominently in search engine results pages as well. So here's the pages down the left-hand side. As you can see, it's always structured the same, whether it's Sage or Canva or others. And we've got the masked image that you can change very easily. You can change images very, very easily as well in the masked video. But then these are the building blocks of the page that we've just looked at on the home page. So we can see the will our next great idea, who we are, etc. listed here. And there's simple little accordions you can click into, and then you can content manage. You can change things like the headings. You can add rich media into these content blocks if you so wish as well. If you wanted to maybe customize the page and change the content blocks around, it's drag and drop. There's no raising a ticket or having to come back to us to make that change. And then the personalization engine, which sits in the background, can be changed here. So if you wanted to maybe only show personalized content and jobs to candidates when they've seen at least 5 jobs, teams, or locations. Again, you can do that here. If you want to turn it off altogether, again, it's completely optional. In addition to that, you can add to the personalization as well. So we see a lot of customers adding and getting really granular with the different teams and the different titles and the different roles that sit underneath different teams or job families as well. Same with clusters of locations in similar areas. You can add to that as you go and just improve the candidate experience across the board. When you come on board, we will also work with you and your teams to actually design and build out these different content blocks for you, depending on your different pages as well. So it won't just be the same content blocks on every page. It will be different content blocks depending on the user journeys for different pages as well. SEO is built into the core of the product, so you can add things like headers, you can add alt attributes to images, you can add meta titles and descriptions. If you don't have SEO expertise in-house, you can simply use the AI tool in the background to generate meta titles, meta descriptions for you. If you want to embed code into a page because you're running a Facebook campaign, you want to drop in a tracking pixel, again, you can do that very, very easily here yourself. And if you want to turn this page into a squeeze page or a campaign page, again, and remove the navigation to keep your audience captive within the career site page, you can do that very easily by clicking on this radio button here as well. You can even hide it from the navigation sitemap and provide it with a vanity URL if you wanted to as well. Even down to things like the settings, we've tried to think of absolutely everything that you as an end user would want to be able to change in a career site. And you can change things like your company information, your social media platforms or accounts. You can add these in here very, very easily. You can move around the navigation. So if you wanted to bring jobs to the other end of the navigation or add a new page you recently created into the navigation, again, you can do that very easily there as well. Things like alert banners were really popular during COVID, or if you've got any indication that some people are scamming or defrauding the application process, you can add alert messages to the career site very easily, change the wording. Things like, tracking scripts, if you wanted to add in Google Analytics tracking script across every page of the site, or a chatbot that you work with, you can add that script very, very easily. There's no need to come back to us and raise a ticket every time you want to make a change. We'll hold your hand all the way. We'll make sure from an implementation perspective, like Dave said, it's all perfect for you. The site is fully populated if need be as well. And then there's a 24-hour, 7-day-a-week service level agreement in place if need be as well, if you have any questions or queries or anything breaks on the site. In addition to the platform itself, we're quite proud of the free tools that we've got on the platform as well. And Dave alluded to them a little bit earlier. There's a job page grader that grades all of your jobs from a content readability and gender bias perspective and provides you or your recruiters with really helpful recommendations about how you can improve those job detail pages further to help them resonate more effectively with your target audience. In addition to that, in the actual blog engine, there's a content grader. So I'll click into the blog very quickly. There we go. And just click into that grading tool here. So if you're familiar with tools like Textio and Grammarly, you'll love this section. So this is telling me what's going on with the blog down the left-hand side, but it's giving me best practice down the right-hand side as well. Heading, we're in this together, is 22 characters long, but according to HubSpot, the ideal length is around 60 characters. And then it gives me actual tangible recommendations about how I can improve the content further. And there's a really helpful SEO keyword tool at the bottom as well, which can help me with my content planning and production in the future too. Just in terms of the blog itself, if you are stuck for ideas and you want to generate some ideas from a content perspective, there's also an ideas generation tool here. You can type in a particular keyword and click on generate. It will generate suggestions for you. But we've taken that one step further with our employer brand expertise and giving you the opportunity to now create that piece of blog content based on your employer brand tone of voice and the actual title itself, rather than it being a generic piece of content that's being spat out by the AI as well. In addition to that, I mean, the analytics platform that Dave spoke about earlier on is very, very substantial. It gives you some great metrics in a visual perspective about how to evaluate your career site metrics. So we predominantly work with Google Analytics. We build out the dashboards in the back end of the career site using Google's Looker Studio, and then provide it in this format. So it's really easy to digest and read. You can change things like the date ranges. You can download the reports into a PDF. You can check all your career site metrics. Then down the left-hand side, you've got some great metrics there telling you about the different sources, your different marketing campaigns. In addition to that, you've got obviously, more conversion data. One of the things we've been able to do over the last 12 months is add data layers into some of the applicant tracking systems as well, to ensure that we can track on applications completed, not just started as well. So you can see some great metrics in the dashboard in the back end of the career site here, like top view jobs, most shared jobs, etc., etc. So we're always working on the roadmap in terms of how to make the product better. But as a snapshot, that gives you a really good overview and flavor of what the platform is about, what we're about. And I happily take any questions you have. I know we're just about to run out of time, so I'll stop sharing there. And I've talked at a million miles an hour, so I'm going to get a glass of water.
That was great, Paul. Thank you so much. And folks, I know some folks may need to drop off, but we got some questions behind the hood. If this is recorded, it absolutely is. So don't fear. We will follow up with a recording, and this is also going to be available on demand at any time you want to take it out of your pocket. Paul, we did get some great questions in the chat, which Jim has kindly been helping us answer. So thanks, folks, for all of the engagement. We did get a quick question from Tessa. Thanks, Tessa, for adding that into the chat. Does GEM have basic job boards available, or would you have to have a career site to have a job board? Now, Paul, I'll let you answer that from the HappyDance perspective, from GEM's perspective as well. We should have basic job boards available for use. Now, Paul, from a HappyDance perspective, I'm sure that that's available too, correct? Or I don't want to speak for...
No, absolutely. Great question, Tessa. First and foremost, it's job boards are things that we've created and developed in the past for different customers at different times. So if you wanted us to build just simply a simple job board for you, where we're consuming your jobs from your applicant tracking system and obviously displaying them in a much more candidate-friendly way, then that's certainly an option that you could go down, and we'd be happy to speak to you in more detail about it.
Awesome. And Doug, thanks for your question. Are there any limitations when you aren't using GEM ATS? Great questions, and simply put, with our time that we have here, GEM ATS, whether you use our own in-house ATS system with the rest of your recruiting platform or bring your own, there shouldn't be many technical limitations. We've built our own ATS the same way that we've built our two-way sync advanced integrations with our other ATSs like Workday, SuccessFactors, you name it. So in short, no.
I'm sorry, just a quick one. Christy's question about the multilingual aspect. I know my colleague shared some examples of different language variants of sites in the chat, but you do not have to have the same verbiage on the different multilingual pages. You can put whatever you want on different pages. So the English page can have different copy and imagery indeed to, in your example, a French version.
Yeah. Great question again. And we also have a translation dictionary in the back end of the content management system, which I didn't get time to show you, which allows you to change the hard-coded elements as well and translate the hard-coded elements into different languages. So all of the hard-coded elements are in that specific language too. But if you did want to create very unique language pages for the likes of Spain and Germany compared to the master English language, you can do that very easily from that one content management system I showed you just now.
Perfect. We have, and for Marielle's question pinned up on the board, how does it work in terms of Google ranking? Usual career sites from the ATS, we can't get the traffic and positioning that we would get in our own website or career site.
Yeah, do you know what? That's a fantastic question. It's probably one of the most commonly asked questions that we get asked as well. I think first and foremost, Marielle, I think it's really difficult for a career site to rank effectively in Google, because you've got jobs that are live for a very finite period of time and then are being taken down and replaced with maybe a 404 page or a redirect. So for the likes of Google, who are coming back and indexing that page on a regular basis, it's really hard for them to provide you with enough trust to rank you effectively in the search engine results pages. So the personalization engine that I showed you very briefly earlier on, which I can show you in more detail, allows you to create persona landing pages, like evergreen landing pages that speak to a particular job or a particular location. We did it with a customer recently who were really struggling to hire in a number of key regions in North America. And they were on page 50 or 60 of Google from these keywords, for these keywords that they wanted to rank for. And one of the things we recommended was building these persona landing pages and enriching them with as much great content about what it's like to work in this particular team, in this position, in this certain location, and having those pages on the career site permanently, rather than just like a job page where it's up for a week or 2 weeks or 30 days and then it's taken down. What we found with that particular customer is that within 2 or 3 weeks of building out those pages for them, they were ranking above the likes of LinkedIn and Indeed and Glassdoor in the search engine results pages for a lot of these terms. And today, even 2 years later, those pages that we built for them are still among the most visited and most engaged with pages on their career site as well. So I'd say that would be a big one. In terms of performance, our sites generally tend to load really quickly across different viewports and different devices, which makes them great. We have schema marked up in all of your jobs to ensure that Google can publish them in Google for Jobs. Schemas marked up in your FAQs to ensure, again, you get more real estate in search with those marked up FAQs that you see sometimes, and people also ask in Google search as well. And then just in terms of the structure and the clean code across the site as well, normally gives you a little boost from an SEO perspective and ensures that you've got more visible career site pages and more organic traffic visiting your career site, which hopefully then will have a knock-on effect, which means that you can reduce the amount you're paying on programmatic and paid advertising and social media paid as well. So yeah, I hope that answers your question. But if you would like a call to talk about it anymore, I'd be happy to do so.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Paul. Folks, we're getting a ton of questions. I'm loving this engagement. We are quite over time, but I do want to get one more question in this group while we have our experts on the call. Paul, we have just some integration questions here. So we have Juanita asking about if we've integrated with SuccessFactors yet. And then another question as well from Janie, what other systems does HappyDance integrate with?
Absolutely. Yeah, our platform is integration agnostic, which means we can integrate with any platform that has an API or JavaScript that we can link to and pull a feed in from. So the most common ATSs that we've integrated with over the last 10, 11 years are Lever, Workday, which probably account for about 75% of the ATSs that we link to, Smart Recruiters, iSIMS, Greenhouse on a regular basis. So we've never ever integrated with or integrated SuccessFactors, but we've looked at it many times. We've been close a few times to having customers on board, and we've seen that in integration documentation, and our developers are absolutely fine with it. We'll be able to integrate SuccessFactors no problem into our career site. In addition to ATSs, we can also integrate any chatbots, candidate survey tools, employer brand video tools that you have as well. It's all very easy to kind of link into the career site. So
fantastic. Thanks, Paul. Well, we've held you up for long enough. Dave, Paul, thank you for spending your evening with us.
Thank you.
Course.
It's a pleasure.
Thanks for inviting us.
It was a huge pleasure. Now, folks, again, we'll follow up to make sure that we cover our the questions we didn't get to answer today live. Thank you so much for submitting them today. Now, if you do have any questions or are interested in taking a look at our career site solution a little bit further, even getting a personalized demo perhaps, feel free to reach out to sales@gem.com. So thank you again, Dave. Thank you again, Paul, for all your time and for folks joining us today. Enjoy your Tuesday.
Thanks, everyone.
See you, everyone. Nice to see you. Bye.
Bye.